So communication. There are 3 different ways that we identify as ways of communicating. One is aggressive, the other is passive aggressive, and the other is assertive. Naturally, we want to always strive toward communicating assertively. This is another one of those things where we can't say, I'm always going to be assertive from this point forward. Why? Because our emotions and our ego and irrational thoughts arise, and sometimes we do become aggressive or passive aggressive, but we have to take responsibility for that and always strive to move into that assertive position. So what's the difference? Being aggressive is when you might be telling the truth, but you're saying it in a really mean way, by name calling or being judgmental. I want to clarify there that sometimes people think they're being mean when they're telling the truth, even in a nice way. Sometimes it's hard to tell someone the truth because it can be hard to hear. The truth should never harm us. It should help us to learn and to grow. So passive aggressive is when someone stays silent, and instead of telling the truth, they just become quiet. And maybe they do things that they know will hurt you, or you do things that you know will hurt this other person because you're aggravated or you're upset or you're hurt, but you don't know how to talk about it. Again, that doesn't work. So we do want to strive toward being assertive, which is to tell the truth, but saying it without the name calling, without the judgment, being willing to hear their perception and sharing your perception, and finding that space where each person can feel understood. So what are things that get in the way of communication? The biggest one is defensiveness. Explaining yourself instead of taking responsibility and just listening and seeking to understand. Other things that get in the way are just our fear of being judged, being misunderstood, being rejected. We create these stories, well, they're never going to listen to me anyway, they don't care, it won't work out, they're going to blow up on me, they're going to hate me. We just create all these stories that block us from speaking the truth. The other thing that blocks us from speaking the truth is we can fall into habits and patterns of blaming people for our behavior, or being stuck in shame of our own behavior, or shaming other people, or feeling guilty or trying to guilt trip other people. Blame, shame, and guilt serve no purpose. They keep us stuck and they do not allow us to grow. The solution is to take responsibility for all of our actions and to ask for accountability from others. So what makes conflict so scary? Again, it's this whole thing that it just depends on if somebody is going to come at you aggressively or if they're going to become passive aggressive. That does make conflict scary. But we still have to do our best to communicate. We have to appreciate that all of us have different needs, different experiences, and different priorities. Even inside your family, and especially inside your family. Just because we're family doesn't mean we think alike. We have to learn how to communicate through these differences. Can you take ownership of your part? Can you consider the perspective of the other person? Can you tell a person you see why they feel the way they do? And will they listen to your perspective and give you the same? Everyone in the conflict has to be willing to solve the conflict. Some people choose resentment or grudges. But even when somebody does something harmful to you, so harmful,